This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the very latest news and interviews from within the Big Red Machine.
Hello, what did you do at the weekend? We might have done something. We'll tell you all about it. It's a Starcast from your Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars with Jono and with Carol. Subtle clue there, Carol.
Subtle as a brick.
Did everybody have a good weekend? He says, the leading question.
Quiet,
yeah.
Yeah, just going through the healing process.
Yeah. Huge weekend for your Billingham Stars. We'll talk all about it here on Starcast. We've got a couple of guests coming up in a moment as well. We've got another guest. Jono, you're hiding another guest, so we're going to bring that in as well.
Should we get the special guest?
Get your special guest in first.
I'll get the special guest.
And then we'll bring in our speaking guests as well. Who could Jono possibly be bringing in from the outside his studio? Oh, look at that. Fantastic.
Something might have happened at the weekend. Something
indeed happened at the weekend. The bigger question is how's the trophy in the Supporters Club chairman's possession? Well, that's a question for a different time. So Cup final weekend, Stars and the Blackburn Hawks. And we're going to start talking about it. Before we talk about the games, we're going to bring in a couple of people who had quite a lot to do with the weekend. Star of BBC Radio Tees, it's your captain, Michael Elder, and scorer of the cup-winning goal on Sunday night, amongst his many hundreds of others he scored for Billingham Stars. Chris Sykes. Chris and Michael, thanks for joining us. How's things 2 days further down the line from Sunday night?
Thanks for having us. And I suppose 2 days down the line, it's done. And now business as usual. On to the next challenge.
Oh, don't be so boring, Michael.
No, it does. It feels good. Obviously, we'll probably get into discussion, but we've been longing for the cup for quite a while, so a bit of relief. Hard work, but we managed to get it done.
Yeah, and Chris, yourself, how's Tuesday feel after Sunday?
My body's starting to recover a lot better now. My legs are coming back. Walking upstairs is getting easier. But yeah, it's good. It just the settling of winning and stuff is starting to settle in, and me and all the boys are chuffed because I think 2 years in a row we've been so close, and then to win that like the way we did and how we won it just feels amazing. So it's good.
We'll talk about how. Who wants to start? Carol or Jono? Who wants to pick things first? Ladies first, Carol. You can take our guests first.
Sure. I think obviously the flying start on Saturday was a big help in the grand scheme of things. But doing that after no training, how?
I think.
I don't know really. In all fairness, I don't know if it took a bit of pressure off us, not having to train and going into it with a bit more of an open mindset. Obviously, everything leading up, especially this week, would have been so much focus around how we're going to stop Blackburn, how we're going to play the game, what we're going to do there, how we're going to go in Saturday. And because we couldn't really prepare, obviously we're very much a team that takes one game at a time. So just look at the next game. So we couldn't really drill down and prepare anything. So we kind of went in there probably with less pressure than we should have had on ourselves. And again, going back to last year, they completely blew us out of the water. So we knew we had to have a strong start. I don't think we scripted having a stronger start than being 3-0 inside 3 minutes. But hey, I think Ollie said in his interview, he didn't think Dominic Ashford was going to stop those 3 shots. So we took those 3 chances. And again, we only really had 3 chances in the first 3 minutes, and we took all 3 of them. So credit to the guys to put those away. But yeah, that was a bit of a dream start.
I've got to ask, what was it like skating out to the red wall? Because the fans on Saturday were numerous, loud, and colourful.
You can say that, Chris.
I started that one. I don't want to butt in. Yeah, it's the fans. We've said it many times. You guys are the extra man, and I think this weekend proves it. I don't think the Forum has been that loud, and I don't think an away support has been that loud. We could see you with the banners and your shirts, everything. Just the noise that you make. Sometimes we don't really hear it or listen to it because we're playing, but at the weekend you couldn't not miss it. Like, it was brilliant, and I think I speak for everyone in the dressing room when you hear that, it does give you a little bit of an extra step or a jump in your stride, and I think it was absolutely amazing, and probably did get us over the line just as much as helpful as it can be when you guys are all really noisy. So it was good.
Go on, I'll let Jono have a go.
Yeah, mine's more on the mindset and probably a bit more deeper in it. Obviously, the demons from last year were amongst the fans, and it can't be helped. How was it for you players? Obviously, you've not had training. You're sat in that changing room waiting for the game to start. Do those demons, do those horrific moments come back from last year, or is it just eyes ahead and all about moving it forward?
I suppose everyone handles things differently individually. As a team, I thought Saturday before the game, we were quite relaxed. Everyone was quite confident, quietly confident. And again, during that game, we weren't down at all, so we had no reason to worry or anything. We were quite comfortable. We were playing the right way, and that was the main thing. When you play the right way, you become a confident team. Yes, some things might not go your way, but that's just that sometimes you don't get the bounces. But Saturday we played a complete 60, the most complete 60 we've played in a while. And then again, quietly confident going to Sunday. I think I said it in the interview last night. We knew coming back to the Forum that we haven't lost there this year, so we were very, very confident coming back home. But yeah, Blackburn broke our streak last night, but at the end of the day, we got the cup and we got it over the line. I think I suppose, and again, it goes back a few years now, and winning the league is like a great testament and obviously a huge achievement, and it's the best team throughout the year. But sometimes you can win the league and not playing your best hockey. So we went on that 16-game winning streak this year, and again we've gone on a 15-game winning streak just before last night. And sometimes we've won games just on skill, and we've had the big players step up and score goals. And again, allude to a witness 3-1 win not that long ago. We didn't play our best hockey there, but skill and Conor McNulty put us 2-1 ahead, and that was just a perfect shot. It wasn't a play, but it was a highly skilled player in a highly skilled play. So sometimes you do those. So when you come to a cup final, when it's a high stakes game, you can't afford to win on skill. It is every person buying in and playing the right way and stepping up. And we haven't managed to do that over the past few years. We cup final last year, playoffs last year. And that was the proudest thing I think that we've seen in Billingham. And yeah, going back to the original question, John, the most, not nervous, but when we were almost hit realisation was in between the second and third period last night when Blackburn had a bit of momentum. They pulled that goal back late. They went 4-3 up, and everyone did look a bit tense in the dressing room. And I said a few words, a few other players, and we is good news for Billingham hockey. There's a lot of young players in there that have got smart heads on their shoulders. That are leaders in their own rights. They don't have to say a lot in the changing room, but they know what's going on. They're very, very dialed in. And it was Jacob Hammond actually who stepped up and said a few words and just calmed everyone down. And it's those just little comments like that do breathe life into everyone. And actually we started. There's this song that we're starting to play, so we played that in between the second and third. And it just loosened everyone up. Everyone was singing it, and it was kind of like Blackburn were probably sat next door thinking they think they've won the cup already. But and again, it could have backfired, but it didn't, and it just loosened everyone up. We went into that third period and closed the game out, which again we struggled to do in the past 2 years. So yeah, it was a great night.
Yeah, I mean,
in regards to the last few seconds. Was there anything from going, oh no, not again? With Solway, obviously they got us down to 27 seconds, and I know the fans were staring at the clock and not what was going on the ice. I was trying to prepare myself for a video to record you guys, and I didn't want to go too soon. I didn't want to jinx anything. I remember sitting with Judy Flavel. We were sat still, didn't dare move. just all the silly stuff that superstitious people do. And do you look up at the clock in those moments, or you just, we've got a battle to the end?
I think most of the time in the game, you always have something in your mind if something's like that's happened to you. I know for a fact myself, when they pulled their goalie, we had a face-off in our end on the left-hand side, and Mikey went off for Callum, and then Mikey came straight back on for Ian. And I remember looking straight at Mikey and thinking, oh, God, we've got 20 seconds. And then we were defending the 6-on-5, and a puck goes near our bench, and I saw Jam and Mikey slide side by side in front of each other, and I thought, right, let's just lock in for 10 seconds, 9 seconds. And then when Jam threw that puck down the ice, I was like, we've got to go. So you do have something in the back of your mind, I think, because it's happened to us before. But at that moment in time, we were just getting to a point where we wanted to get over the line because we knew how close we were. But yeah, when we got to that point, it was euphoria.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in here because I've literally just watched it on the YouTube because they're doing a premiere of the game, the full game, and you'll be glad to know, Chris, you did beat him to the hash marks, and she didn't have her arm up for icing either. So why the hell that goal got washed off? I have no idea.
Well,
we didn't get washed off.
Yeah, it didn't get washed off. In my eyes, it counted. We had that moment, didn't we? So
yeah. That was just silly, but I just thought I'd say justification.
Yeah,
it was a fine goal.
She apologised afterwards, and I did say, I said, like, you've ruined the moment in a way, but it is what it is. It's done with. That's by the by. We've won the cup. That's all we're all bothered about. So,
I mean, you mentioned that face off on the 6-on-5. When I saw Callum taking the draw and Mikey coming on, I just thought it was kind of extra centre insurance. So if the centre gets tossed out, so obviously we've got Callum to take it, but then Mikey's there as well. So it's like I saw it as a confident play, obviously getting that back up. And then when it went down the ice, I was playing the goal music. I was getting me, and obviously had to announce. Well, I didn't announce anything because I didn't really get why the goal didn't count. So we just kind of played the last 3 seconds, and then mayhem. Mikey mentioned Jacob obviously speaking up in the second interval on Sunday. Do you want to say about Jacob across the weekend? 40 saves both games. Obviously, it was a tough call. Both of our goalies this year have been absolutely stellar. So a tough call from Fuzzy to make the Jacob for both nights. But Mikey, do you want to say first Jacob's role in the weekend?
Phenomenal, really. I think Billingham have been blessed over the years of having some really, really good goaltending. Flav for all those years. This has been since way before I was around. They've had great goalies, but since I've been involved for 12, 13 years, it is. We started off with Flav, who again stood on his head in moments, and then we moved on to. There was a bit of a break. Then we had 3 goalies: Mark Watson, Tom Brown, and then Tom solidified himself as the number 1. And again, last year the league, Tom stood on his head in big games, Hull away being one of the main ones. And then this year, Mark and Jacob have both been battling for the net. Mark had an unbelievable start to this year, calendar year this is. Rightly so, got goalie of the month, and they've both been battling it out. And there's great competition there in a tandem. This weekend in particular, and I don't for the magnitude of the weekend and what's gone on and how young this lad is as well. I don't think I think you could probably put that down as the best 120 minutes a goaltender's played in a Billingham shirt for about 12 years. Just from playing in front of him, like the moment doesn't get to him. He's so cool, and today I think he was getting a bit too cool last night, and he started chirping back at the Blackburn players and he was making good saves. But look, he's an absolute gamer, that lad, and he stood tall for us. And yes, sometimes. We slipped up at the weekend and we let good players for Blackburn have good opportunities in bad areas of the ice, and he stood tall and made saves when he had to. And again, you can look at stats all you want, and to be fair, our goalies have got fantastic stats this year, but sometimes it's not the stats that tell the full story. It's big saves and big moments at big times in the game, and Jacob came up with those this weekend. So yeah, he was unbelievable.
I think there was the big windmill glove save on McKinney let fly from the point, didn't he? And he just kind of like, and he thought he was going to like stare McKinney down because like kind of I've got this one sort of thing. I mean, Chris, Michael mentioned Flav there. I think that's a fair one to equate because as he mentions, Jacob's kind of temperament and personality is perfect almost because they say nothing kind of phases him. If a goal goes in, it's kind of done and he's on to the next one. It's a perfect temperament he's got for playing goal.
Yeah, for sure. I think as a goalie, you've got to be mad, aren't you? That's what we always say. So yeah. But he settles his own nerves or whatever he calls them. But he doesn't seem to let anything get to him. And, you know, he might let a bad one in. He might get sniped. He's whatever. But the next moment, he's back locked in. And you can kind of see that no matter what. And Jacob and Mark are both massive parts of our team because no matter who's behind us, we know that either one of them is going to keep us in a game. And I think both of them have the same temperament. Mark's a lot more quiet, but he just does what he needs to do. Jacob is a little bit more vocal. He might, stare people down and stuff like that, but they're both a great tandem. They're both brilliant behind us. And I think, as I say, either one of them behind us, we're quite happy with either one of them in the net, to be fair.
Yeah. Carol?
Well, I was going to say that it was hard on Mark this weekend, I think, because but obviously he's played a part in getting us to the final. So in that way, it's a massive team effort. And I think I was just going to say that I know some of the lads probably didn't see quite as much of the ice this weekend as they would have liked. But on the whole, for the whole of the cup run, it has been a massive team effort. So that even the guys who maybe didn't see so many minutes over the weekend should still rightly be very proud of the achievement.
Yeah, for sure. I think it don't matter whether you're, fourth line, first line, whatever, second goalie, third goalie. We're all there together and we've all played minutes. We've all played games. We've gone to places with less people. We've gone to places where people are on holiday or sick or whatever. It don't matter. We're all in it together and we all win together. We all lose together. And yesterday, when we were all celebrating with the trophy, whether it's, one of the younger lads, Sam and Tom Wakefield or me and Mike, we're all equivalent. We're all going to be winning together and losing together. So, yeah, it's just a team effort, innit? It always is. It always has to be. And winning as a team feels a hell of a lot better than winning on your own. So,
yeah, I mean that's been one of the mantras the last couple of years, isn't it? This next man up thing, and kind of the team being better than or greater than any individuals, and it's the team that comes first. And I think that's been proven the last few weeks when we have had that bit of adversity and players missing and players having to step up. And I think this weekend's just sure, like you say, the guys coming on, Sam and Tom maybe knew they weren't going to get a lot of ice, but they were there, they were supporting, they were a big part of the squad and have been all season, Michael.
Absolutely, yeah. And I spoke to, well, just to pick a point out, I spoke to Jack Wakefield after the game when he was on the ice celebrating. Look, Jack's not played many minutes for this year, but he's got two great goaltenders in front of him. But I don't think Jack's missed a training session this year either. He's down there every week, no matter what. And that's the mentality, and that's the mentality and the ethos that we've got throughout all the younger lads. And look, when their time will come, especially the lads on that two-way, they're earning valuable minutes playing for the Buccaneers at the minute, and that's only going to breathe life into the Stars for many, many years to come. Look, Sam, Tom, everyone, Stu down there, they're playing power play, they're playing penalty kill. They're logging 20, 25 minutes a night. And they come on the road and support us, like Chris said, when we've been struck with illnesses. Nottingham, before Christmas, was a perfect example. We had we went down there with 16 skaters or whatever it was, and those lads played unbelievable for us and have come up big in big situations. So, yeah, it's important that they're involved. It's important that we create this winning culture because, like I said, Lennon last night, Tom Wakefield, Sam, as soon as you started to get a taste of winning, it feels good and you want that more, you know what I mean? So the more guys and the more people that we can get involved with that, the more it's going to hopefully lead to plenty more success for Billingham in the future.
Yeah. Jono?
Yeah, mine's more like how do we move on now? I know obviously last year it affected us the opposite way, and we got ourselves in a little bit of a rut, and we kind of limped over the line in the end this year. This is only going to have a positive effect, or you have to bring the lads down a little bit, just to calm things down. And two massive games coming again this weekend, and there's a certain team on Sunday who's going to want a piece of us.
Yeah, it's again like at the top. Unfortunately, it's good to celebrate, but tomorrow night back at training, business as usual. Huge doubleheader on the road this weekend. Leeds on Saturday, Whitley Sunday. Whitley's never a nice place to come, and Leeds have proven to be. Yes, we've kind of had some. We have got a good result down there last time, but they proved tricky for us at home. So. They're coming to their own, and again, everyone's playing their best hockey now down the stretch as we go into the playoffs. So, no, there is no easy game, like we've said all year. And those two teams, if you're not careful, can take points off you. Very, very capable to take points off you. So, again, we've put ourselves in a position here to go and get another one and go and get a league, but that just doesn't. That's not going to get handed to us. Blackburn obviously are right on our heels. That's only 3 wins, and 3 wins, especially if one weekend goes in their favour, one weekend doesn't go in our favour. We're right back neck and neck. So again, yeah, we've done the hard work to put ourselves in this position, but there's still some work to do here. So yeah, we're not resting our laurels, and we've got to get right back to it. And again, I think everyone loves that feeling on Sunday, so we want to do that again in a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, the feel on Sunday, I think you mentioned it off the top, both of you. I can't remember the forum being as full, but certainly as loud. The first entrance when the players came out, the first time we saw the rally rags at the forum, the noise, the goals, and then the final pop at the end. The fans have been on the journey as much as the players have over the last 3 years, Chris, and the celebrations last year with the league and last weekend and hopefully things to come. It's a whole club achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're all in it together, as I've said before. I think it speaks volumes as well. Like, we won on Sunday, and I think obviously winning means a hell of a lot to us as players, as fans. But I think celebrating and lifting a trophy with your family and your fans and your friends means a hell of a lot more. Like, for me personally, having my dad there and my girlfriend there means a lot as well, because you don't get them moments very often, and when you do, you want to make them count. Having the fans there and celebrating and seeing all the red flags being flung around and stuff, it does honestly give us a massive step. And I think bringing it all together, all the fans, the supporters club, all the friends and family that come as well. It's seeing the forum like that is something that we don't see very often, not that full. And I tell you what, it's something that I think we can try and keep going, because that'd be really good if we could.
Yeah.
Maggie, from you?
Yeah, again, second everything Chris has said there. And I think, again, I said it last night on the radio. It was special to win in front of our fans, as in, so to start with, it takes 2 teams and 2 great sets of fans to put an atmosphere like that, and that's at both legs. Away at Blackburn, our fans were incredible, and Blackburn's were. And again, because it was right, we were right in a game. To be fair, if we weren't in a game, I think Blackburn would have still brought loads of fans, but they brought a busload of fans up Sunday night, sorry. So it does take 2 sets of fans, and obviously we as players appreciate playing in front of a packed barn, because it just adds another layer onto the moment. But yeah, last year although we won the league, we didn't clinch the game in front of our fans, so it was almost the celebration was on the road, and then we came back. We had the presentation, but we had the presentation after losing the home game, so it wasn't. Yes, we still won, great to win, but it kind of took a bit of shine off it last night, because it's a one-off game. You don't know how it's going to go, and there's no anticipation. You just got to live in the moment. It accumulated to being an unbelievable night, and I think you saw the passion and everything. And I think the photo that's been going online of Chris when he scored that goal, and that was that's how we all feel, and that's how we thought the fans felt as well. It was almost just, you can't write those moments. You know what I mean? You can't. I was talking to Chris today, and he was like, I'm not normally an emotional guy, but everything just came out of me at that moment, and you can't control it. You just can't. It's just we win the moment, we won it, and it was just it was unbelievable. And yeah, we want more of it.
Yeah, I mean that goal, Chris. We put that. We had the video out last night. I think that the power play goal in the third period. Blackburn, obviously, you were floating around and you had the space, and then when you managed to get the shot off, you got it through Ethan Mayo and you got it through Ben Kelly's glove and into the net. When you saw it hit the twine, obviously we saw the reaction. How do you get is just concentrate getting the shot off, and whoever's in the way tough, just get the shot off?
Yeah, on the power play, you just try and find that gap, that extra foot, that half an inch, whatever you want to class it as. And when Spraggan had the puck at the top and he went across to Mikey, and I was just kind of floating around. It came back to Spraggan, and I thought, right, I'm on my own. I could see the gap between me and Ethan Mayo, and when it came across to me, I thought, I have a second. And as I say, I had that second or that inch, whatever you want to class it as. And when I shot, I didn't aim for the top corner. I mean, I aimed at the net, and when it goes in, you see the red light go on, and I don't know, your body takes over. You just do whatever. But just finding that space in it for each other, especially on a power play when you've got an extra man, you're finding space because someone else might be marking someone. This year, I find we might find a lot more space because Ian's got 6 man on top of him. So, you just find an extra inch and you go for it and see what you can do.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic to see. Anything else from Jono or Carol?
I just wanted to say thank you. The entertainment this weekend was incredible. Not seen a weekend like that in a long, long time. So massive thanks to you guys for putting on the best show.
No problem. Right back at you for being the good fans. Thank you.
Hopefully there's more celebrations in a few weeks.
Yeah, not far away.
4 to go, guys. 4 to go.
Absolutely.
We'll let go of that. Really appreciate Michael and Chris coming on Starcast tonight. As Michael said to start his interview, he's completely on the Stephen Foster mode now. It's like that's done. One game at a time. Saturday's the focus. So we'll let you get set for training this week, and we'll catch up with you in Leeds, in Hillheads at the weekend. Chris and Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
And there they go. Our captain and our cup-winning goal scorer. Got to get the guys' perspective. Yes, that cup winners. Yes, Jono points to his. You can point to all I've got.
Back to front.
All I've got a red tea towel, but it's all good. Always good to get their guys' perspective off the bat. We'll talk about the games in a second, but obviously the Caroline, you're at the centre of this. The photos, the videos, the posts, the comments since kind of 8:30 Sunday night. It's just been absolutely unreal, and it's been a good unreal.
Yeah, quick apology I've had quite a few messages off players saying, can you send me photos, blah, blah, blah. I'm about halfway through them. I've managed to sort out pretty much all of the official ones except one album, but I've still got all the fan ones to go through. There was just so many. So apologies in advance. Still not worked my way through all the photos, but hopefully they will all be up in the next couple of days. Also means I haven't even written the report yet. Just haven't had time. So there's been plenty of other content, though. I think you might agree. Our Facebook page has never been quite this busy. So
do we need a report? We won the cup. End of.
Do you know what? Given that the full game has just been released, I don't think anybody will miss the report, but there are some people that read it. So I probably will still do one, but it might not turn up for a couple of days.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a video of the Kino Sport were there filming the whole game, so that's online. We've got the goal roll is going live at 8:00 tonight. Obviously, we had Sykes' goal. We might try and get a couple of other behind the net goals and get a different perspective and get that on. But just the kind of the smile and the happy and the buzz is still there, even though it's 2 days after, and it's still. I mean, I was telling people at work yesterday, what did you do at the weekend? Oh, well, we won the cup and we did this and we did this. So you still get that buzz.
I have the presenter of the trophy if you'd like to say hi. Since he's wearing
you put that on
merch.
Oh, he's Steel City merch.
Look, he's Steel City merch. Do you want to stick your head on and show some Steel City merch?
As the general manager of the NIHL, last seen presenting Michael Elder with a trophy on Sunday night. We'll mention the Steel City showdown at the end because we've got a competition to run next week, I think.
Later on, thank you.
That bit.
Thanks for popping in. He does know this is being recorded and it will be on the podcast, doesn't he?
It probably will be on the podcast. He's going, you can edit this, can you? And like, well, no.
Well, since we're in the middle of a conversation when he started handing you merchandise. I mean, we've been on half an hour already, so I suppose we may as well talk about the games. If you're happy to talk about the games again.
Yeah.
A quick run through of the stats, and then we'll talk about the actual action. Finish off the cup roundup. So Saturday in Blackburn, Blackburn 3, Billingham 5. As we mentioned in the chat there, fantastic start. 3 goals in just over 3 minutes. Had the Stars on the way. Goal scorers on the night: Chris Sykes, Tommy Spraggan, Roland's Grittans, Ian Brown, and Roland's Grittans again. For Blackburn, it was James Riddick, Darragh Sporforth, and Adam Barnes. In net, it was the 2 netminders took both games, all weekend. Ben Keddy, 37 shots for Blackburn. Jacob Hammond, 44 shots for Billingham. So it was a 5-3 advantage coming back to the Forum on Sunday night. And as we know, Sunday finished Billingham 4, Blackburn 5 for a 9-8 overall win for the Billingham Stars. Billingham's goals: James Moss, Ian Brown, Callum Wilkinson, and Chris Sykes. And for Blackburn, Jacob Lutwich, Andrew McKinney, Aaron Davies, James Royds, and Adam Barnes. Again, Ben Keddy in net for Blackburn, 37 shots again. And Jacob Hammond, 48 shots for the Billingham Stars. They are the stats. The evidence of the weekend is sitting behind Jono on his shelf. Moralee Cup champions. Carol, you can take the floor. First thoughts. We've already obviously discussed it with Mikey and Chris, but the games themselves, certainly a worthwhile advert for NIHL Division 1 in the north.
I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that who's at either game or both games, and certainly the comments from coaches, etc., will bear that out. I think overall the weekend was a fabulous advert for hockey at this level. It was 2 of the best games I've seen for a long, long time. Clearly the 2 best teams in the division. You could say it could have gone either way. I don't quite hold with that. I think the Stars edged it over the 2 games, and not just by the scoreline. Sorry. Besides which, we definitely tied that game 5-5 because now we've all seen it. But on the replay, that was a goal. So it was 10-8 really. It wasn't 9-8. So but regardless, Blackburn played superbly. Billingham played superbly. Both sets of fans were amazing. I don't think you could have asked for anything more. Now that we can look back on it and say that, I think if I was, I think you could see it in Dom Osmond's face on the Sunday night interview. That was a gut punch. So to play that well and to lose, that hurts. That really hurts.
Yeah.
But I think they can take an awful lot from the fact that those 2 games, the quality, the standard was just way above anything else we've seen this season. There isn't another game that we've been involved in this season that was anywhere near that.
Yeah. The first 3 minutes, Jono, and I wasn't in Blackburn. I was following on social media. and it was 3-0 after 3 minutes. And I'll hold my hands up and say I was a wreck because I couldn't handle 3-0 up with 117 minutes to play. What was it like in the stands in Blackburn?
I mean,
as we've already said,
complete euphoria. But I think just at the puck drop, you're thinking just 5 minutes. Say out the first 5 minutes, then we'll get to 10 minutes, and then we can start building, and then bang 1-0, bang 2-0, bang. You can see Carol scrambling to get her graphics sorted to get the third goal out there, and yeah, absolute euphoria. The fans were going nuts. They didn't know how to react themselves when the second and the third go in. And these just weren't lucky bounce goals. These were very well taken, pinpoint accuracy goals, and very deservedly of the lead, really, as well. I don't know how you can say that within 3 minutes, but I don't think Blackburn touched the puck, and we did dominate those 3 minutes. And as weird as it say, I started looking at Ben Kedgie and I started feeling for him a bit, because obviously we were on the end of it last year. We saw what Tom went through, and you're thinking the coaches have got to be very careful here, but fair play to that kid. Because I still think he's only, 18, 19-year-old himself. He bounced back very well, and he ended up keeping Hawks in that fixture, because 5-3, I think that scoreline did flatter the Hawks ever so slightly on the drive home on Saturday night, thinking back at the game.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Blackburn came back from 3-0 to make it 3-2, and then we've stretched away in the middle period. And stupidly, this is the fan kind of mentality. 5-2 end of second, I was all right with that. 3-0, I wasn't, but 5-2, I was happy with that. Even though it's the same margin, it's like I think we saw last week how messed our brains were just even thinking about the cup final after last year and the year before. Was so stupidly 3-0 was too stressful, but 5-2 I was fine with. 5-3 again after last year. It's about 15 goals better than last year, wasn't it? So we'll certainly take that. And then we come to Sunday again, getting to the Forum. They were already queuing out the door. You know it was going to be full. Great noise even for warm up. And then, as we said with the guys on the interview before, when Billingham skated out, the block stood up. They had the rally rags going. It looked bleep awesome. And huge kudos to whoever picked the rally rags, because they were a huge addition, and I think it just added to the fans were brilliant, but the extra little thing, it just visually looked superb.
That was Alan.
Yeah, the suggestion was made and Alan pulled through, and they were unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody tried to pick up one as much as we could. So I've got mine, and I took it into work to show work, and they were suitably unimpressed. But I'll win them round eventually.
Might have to tell Alan to get some league winners ones or playoff ones, and keep a theme and keep that moving forward, because it certainly looks unreal, and it certainly adds to the atmosphere as well.
Yeah. And then the game again Sunday, teams continued where they left off on Saturday night. We got the first goal, which I think was huge. Mossy shot from the start through traffic, opened the scoring. But I think, and Carol mentioned the interview with Dom Osman, and I said it to him on Sunday night. Blackburn, and we knew they were League Cup champions from last year, they were not going to let go without a fight, and so it proved. Carol there. It was kind of you score, we score, you score, we score.
I do think we helped him out a little bit. I think, I know Mikey said it wasn't it didn't play on them too much, but I think deep in the second and certainly in the third, we started to look a little tighter on those sticks. I think there was a little mental issue going on in play at the back of I'm going, we've been here before. But I think save that horrific line change that gave Blackburn a route back into it. All in all, this is why I'm saying the best team won, because I think we just about had control of that game. Certainly, I think the tightness probably just bore out in some of the shooting. And like I say, if it wasn't for that gift of a goal for Adam Barnes, I think we'd have been breathing an awful lot easier going into the last 10 minutes. And we wouldn't be screaming about a waved off goal that shouldn't have been waved off. Yeah. I'm more than delighted that we've come out of that one, having got a 3-year monkey off our backs. Because I think if it had gone 3 years, I think we just would have given up. I mean, given what happened last week, and we were all sat going, "Cup week, this cup is cursed." The whole final week is that all we're talking about is the forums ice plants broke. It's just you can't script cup final week for drama anymore. So I think if it had if the result hadn't gone our way, I think we'd have just like jacked it in and just not bothered entering next year.
Yeah, just withdrawn. Yeah. Goals on the Sunday. We talked about Sykes, his power play goal in the third. Absolutely over the moon for Callum Wilkinson getting his power play goal in the second period, which is a huge heads up play from Ian Brown. Obviously, he was on the edge of the crease. Pass went to him. Blackburn's attention went to him, and Callum's just standing in front of the net saying, "Hello, hello." So Ian shoveled it across. Callum tapped it in, and for about 30 seconds, I think, before Blackburn scored again, everybody was OTM. But that was the kind of game it was, and Blackburn, Jono, as we said, they had the cup. They weren't going to let go, and they proved worthy defending champions.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it was been mentioned around online that the cup probably became they had to win it. It was a must win for them, as they haven't given up on the league, but the odds are, and the stats statistically, the league is probably a little bit out of reach. So the cup became absolutely everything for them, and they weren't going to let it go. I mean, we always talk about a 2-goal lead in hockey, and going into a third period in a normal game with a 2-goal lead is risky. So a 2-goal lead overnight was only going to get the Hawks ready and raring to go, and knowing that if they came after us, they had the firepower to hurt us. Thankfully, as you mentioned, we got that first goal, and then we just traded goals for the night. And I think every time we were in need, one of our big players stepped up and put one in the net for us.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. And I say the whole atmosphere with the fans, the Blackburn fans. Sadly, I was closer to the Blackburn fans than most because of where the DJ box was. So my ears were ringing a bit from them, but it was a great turnout. I said, and I'm hearing Saturday night was exactly the same from both fans as well. So there's over 1,000 in Blackburn. Don't tell T's active, but there's probably nearly 900 odd in Billingham last night. So
776.
776.
776, Craig.
776. That's what I thought, because of that seat behind me where they've taken the seat off. So we're one down on capacity.
Well, 777, including you standing there.
Yeah. Well, I had my own seat. I provided my own seat, so I'm all right. But yeah, the whole thing, and then we'll talk about. I think it's been mentioned a couple of times online, particularly the post game with. Obviously, we talked to Fozzie. Nearly got Fozzie to be kind of emotional and excited and whatever, but he was like, "No, fine, blah 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 blah." So Fozzie is as Fozzie does. We'll get him excited one of these times. But huge props as well to Dom Osman for stepping up and giving his thoughts, as Carol says, having just finished a gut punch of a weekend. But he had some nice thoughts about obviously the standard of the play, credit to Billingham, how we played. But also he said Blackburn weren't finished by any means, and we know that from last year. The trophies up for grabs are wide open. You've got to add, we'll probably talk about it later, you've got to add Solihull into the mix, who were coming in with a bit of a run, upset a little bit at the weekend. But there's at least a 3-horse race for the trophies at the back end of the season. So, but yeah, Fozzie and Dom, Carol, the post game.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I think Mr. Foster might have been a bit more emotional than usual, because I think that's probably the worst interview he's given all year. I think he was struggling to have the words to describe what had just happened, because he was just probably about as stunned as we were.
Well, it was only 4 minutes long as well, so it probably wasn't
exactly. Yeah, I think he was just like, "What was that?" you've got to give a big cuddle to Dom Osman for stepping up and standing in front of the camera, and basically, that hurts. But make no mistake, they will use that pain to fuel the rest of their season. There's, for them to lose by 1 goal, 2, and it's all for them to take that pain, take it in, and use it in a positive way to achieve something else before the end of the season. So they ain't done yet, not by a stretch.
No, 100%. And if it's all right with you, I'll just give Dominic a firm handshake, and you can give him the cuddle when you see him next, if that's all right by you. Any thoughts on the coaches, either across the weekend or the post-game comments, Jono?
Yeah, just all over the weekend. Big up to Wally for his interview on Saturday. He recognised what we did out on the ice, and he also recognised the crowd. You give us a bit of a cheeky thumbs up for when we noticed that they were going to create their yellow wall. So we thought we'd outdo him with a red wall. He said he had a good laugh at that. They had a good chat with him after the game as well, and he gave nothing but plaudits to us, to both teams, and the standards we're setting. And the same to Dom. I mean, it's easy to give an interview when you're winning and you win trophies. So to give up his time and to talk about the final in the way that he did after a gut-wrenching loss is massive kudos to him. Yeah.
No, it was brilliant. And it's just a fantastic weekend. And as we did with the league winners last year, getting the fans down, getting the photo in front of the fans, but then getting the fans down on the ice, the friends and the families and fans. And I think that was special as well on the forum ice. Speaking of forum ice, a quick word for Tees Active. I know
well done.
Blackburn appeared to bring a busload of ice technicians with them because that's all they were talking about when they arrived. But I'd say to have no ice plan to get it into a position where it was playable for both teams on Sunday night. Huge props to the guys in the Forum Ice Arena.
Absolutely. They did a sterling job last week. There was a few relieved faces on Sunday night, I think.
Yeah. So we'll thank them and hope it's so they get talked about training this week. I think it was an issue yesterday, but fingers crossed it'll be all right for this week. So
I think that was more to do with the amount of fizz that was on the surface. Probably not good for newly laid ice.
Champagne melts ice. Okay, make a note for next time. Well, if it's all right, we'll leave it there for now. I'm sure it's not the last time we'll mention Moralee Cup winners 2025, but for now, we'll leave the Cup final weekend. We'll leave the Cup final weekend for now. We'll take a break, and then we come back. We'll have a look at other results. There were other Cup finals on the weekend, and there's some league action in our division as well. And then, as we mentioned with Mikey and Chris, a road doubleheader for your Billingham Stars. We'll take a break. I'm back in a moment with Billingham Stars and Starcast. Welcome back to Starcast, and normal service being resumed as we look at results from elsewhere around the league, but also there were other cup finals. And there wasn't just the Billingham Stars who won a cup at the weekend. Did we mention we won a cup? We mentioned one or twice. But the other divisions also held their cup finals. In the North 2, it was the top two teams, similar to ourselves, Telford and Sutton Sting, battling it out. And it was the Telford Tigers 2 who lifted the Laidler Cup. And then down south, Chelmsford Chieftains saw off the Solent Devils, and Peterborough Phantoms extinguished the Guildford Heat. Guildford, I was going to say Guildford Lightning, that's the women's team.
Phoenix.
Guildford Phoenix. I got all my fire metaphors all confused. Guildford Phoenix. So congratulations to all of the winners. They all will have a banner as such as behind Carol, and a trophy such as behind Jono. Excellent.
They'll all have. I was about to say it as well. They'll all have medals too.
Yeah. Yes, the NIHL had their hat sponsor in busy action again. So everybody suitably decked out after their weekend travail. So congratulations to Chelmsford, to Telford, and to Peterborough joining the Billingham Stars as cup winners. About an hour ago, we introduced the episode. We should have done my thing, but yeah, I'll get the hang of this show and hosting this show one of these days. So we've done the number, we've done that. Right, next. Results and tables. So in addition to the cup finals in our division, at least, there were a few teams filling in with fixtures either from postponed or rearranged, and a fair few goals around as well. D-side Dragons, 9, Widnes Wild 8. D-side were a lot more comfortable than that, but Widnes making a game of it down at D-side. That was the only league game on Saturday. And then Sunday's league action, Whitley Warriors saw off the Hull Jets 3-1. Nottingham Lions made a huge step in the playoff race and clinched their postseason qualification, in fact. A 6-2 win over the Widnes Wild. And then the Solihull Barons going down, first loss in quite a while, 11 or 12 games, I think, for the Barons. A 7-6 overtime decision to the D-side Dragons. So a 6-point, no, it wasn't because it was overtime, a 5-point weekend for the D-side Dragons. Still a lot of goals at both ends. But cup games aside, Jono, do you want to pick a story?
Yeah, I don't mind. Well, if I was going to say to you, 14 goals conceded by D-side Dragons this weekend and they get 2 wins, I think everyone would have laughed at me. But in the words of a friend of ours at Banners of the Wall, I think, why defend when you don't have to defend? That 9-9 game is ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I don't know where you start. I mean, obviously, I think D-side would have just been happy to get a win. It's been that long. But obviously, the huge standout is what went on in Solihull. I'm shocked to see that one. D-side were banged up. They were ill. They travelled lightly. And just sometimes when there's only 13 of you, that camaraderie just gets you through a game. And a 7-6 overtime win in Solihull is absolutely incredible, especially on the back of Barron's charge of 13 games in a row unbeaten. That's an epic. And I think I saw something from Dragons GM that even a tear came to his eye after that victory. And you can understand why with what they've been through over the last couple of months with the amount of goals they've conceded. But to get a win like that had really been a special night for the Dragons.
Yeah. I mean, you know about the goal conceded. I'm looking at the Widnes game on the Saturday. D-side conceded 8 goals on 32 shots and won in regulation. Widnes, Logan Reed was in net for Widnes, 9 goals on 54 shots. And then Sunday, again, NIHL stats, thanks to Joe Scutts for all the game information. 7-6 OT. Graham Laverick was in net for Solihull, 7 goals on 47. Phil Pearson in net for D-side, 6 goals on 56 shots. So goals are plenty, shots are plenty. And I think D-side taking a 5-point weekend from conceding 14, as Jono says, and from conceding a lot of goals and not many shots. So it just shows crazy how the division can be. But yeah, so D-side cementing their place in the middle of the pack. Solihull, as it upsets their streak, but they've got an ideal opportunity to get back on the horse because they play Blackburn on Saturday. But we'll mention that in a minute. Anything from your side, Carol, on the league results?
Yeah, I think we've figured out how to get a win in Solihull. Just go with no bloody team, because didn't Hull go there the other week and force them to overtime as well with half a team?
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. Maybe people just go into Solihull backs against the wall and put up a show. Because as far as I'm aware, D-side had 13 players on.
Yep.
I'm just counting it. 11 plus 2. And then Barron's had 14, 17 plus 2. So Barron's had the strong advantage.
I think Hull had a similar number the other week. So that's it. We've got Solihull figured out now. We just have to go with 2 lines and a goalie.
Right. Okay. You can tell Fozzie on Thursday. We'll
2 lines and a goalie. That's all.
Fine. Sounds good. So we'll look at the league tables, and as we mentioned, Nottingham are the 7th team to qualify for postseason after their win over Widnes. So there's just 1 spot up for grabs. Still not done and dusted by any means. It's 8 points. 6 points Leeds to Widnes. And Leeds do have a game in hand, but it's not done, I say, with 3 points for a win. It's still possible for Widnes to squeak in, so it'll go down to the YAFL. Obviously, the top 2 didn't play any league action this weekend, so Solihull get the point for the OT defeat, so they're 7 points back of Blackburn on level games now. D-side 4 points clear in 4th, Hull in 5th, the Warriors in 6th, still a couple of games in hand on Hull, so you'd think Warriors would be looking up rather than down after their win. Nottingham, as I say, qualified in 7th, and then the last couple of spots going down the wire. Anything on the league table before we move on?
I still think Leeds are pretty nailed on for that last spot. I just where are Widnes going to get points from? Even in games where they seem to be doing really well, they still fall short. So I'm still thinking that's Leeds.
Yeah, I think it's going to be as we are.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's a done table.
Widnes Leeds play on the 2nd of March. They play this weekend. We're going to look at the fixtures in a second. So it might be done and dusted by this weekend. And if Leeds get the win over Widnes, so we'll have a look then at the fixtures for this weekend. So 3 games on Saturday: Blackburn, Solihull at Planet Ice Blackburn, as we mentioned. Leeds against the Billingham Stars. We'll talk about that in a second. A 7:30 kickoff, and then the lunchtime game, Nottingham and the Whitley Warriors. Presumably that must mean it's on the big ice. At the arena. So that's Saturdays, and then Sunday, D-side Hull, Nottingham Blackburn, 7:30 on a Sunday-ish. Yeah. Whitley Warriors, Billingham Stars. Again, we'll talk about that, and Widnes Leeds. I say big implications for the 8th playoff spot. Blackburn, Solihull, game of the Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one all Stars fans will have eyes on.
Yep.
Yeah, particularly since it kicks off an hour and a half before we do, so we'll have plenty of chance to see how the land lies before it drops in Elland Road.
Could be a very big weekend. Well, looking at those fixtures, it's going to be a very big weekend. There's some absolute knockout games right along the board.
Again, so Whitley looking to get games in hand. So they're playing one of their games in hand on Saturday, and then Sunday D-side Hull is again huge for the middle of the pack. Blackburn going to Nottingham, and Widnes Leeds, as we say, about the bottom of the table. So, and it's one of the beauties of the hockey this time of the year. All of the games pretty much mean something at either end of the table. So, fantastic in prospect. You can follow it all online, and I'm sure our friend at Stick to the Pod will be talking about it this week and next as things transpire. But as we talk about the weekend ahead, and Mike, you mentioned it at the very top, back to league action and a road doubleheader for the Billingham Stars away to Leeds on Sunday night, 7:30 at Elland Road, and then the second visit to Hill Heads. Tyne Tees Derby, 5 o'clock on Sunday. Do you want to take the games individually or together? Jono, do you want to start?
Yeah, I think it's not about 2 games to come back to after a weekend that we've just had. Obviously, you're going to get the comeback with a bump with Leeds. It's going to be a cold, empty arena pretty much next week. I know it'll be full of Stars fans. I know there's a lot of people talking and wanting to travel this Saturday. So there's going to be a lot of Stars fans, but obviously the complete opposite of playing in front of 1,000 people last weekend. But a game that they know they're going to have to work hard and be at the best, especially concentration-wise, against a young team who are looking to take a scalp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as we said that when we played them up here, Carol, Leeds did cause us problems, and although we did well down there in the first visit to Elland Road in the season, Leeds have grown this season as we knew they would into NIHL 1, and on their own ice in particular, we're going to have to be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, we picked out, what was it, 3 of their players the other week as part of our little mailbag questions about what the talent that they have there. They put up some great results in patches during the season. It's always hard the first season. You have to grow into this division. It is difficult to just come in and put up performances with any consistency, but when they have been on their game, they really have been on their game, and Stars just have to be a little bit careful that they're not a bit too cocky after what has been a fabulous weekend. That this league is not done. It's not sewn up. We have to be fully focused if we're wanting to achieve our ultimate aim of getting this league title in the bag as soon as possible. Again, if we just like the cup when we had our eyes on last year, kind of don't want that to happen again this year when we're stumbling around looking for points and falling off towards the end of the season. This year we really should be building and getting that momentum going towards the big showdown at the end of the season anyway. So whether you're looking at a league title or you're just looking at creating a ball rolling, if you like, towards postseason, then on both those fronts we need to have our eyes fully focused on Leeds, because they will be ready to pounce if we're not on our game.
And from talking to Chris and Mikey at the start, it sounds like the atmosphere and the feeling in the room is different this year. So obviously they'll be talking about that at training and kind of impressing about how to approach the coming week. So we'll see what happens on Saturday night. It's 7:30 Elland Road. If people haven't been down, if you want to tick off another new rink for the visit, it is right next to Elland Road, as the name suggests, next to the football stadium. But yeah, it will be cold. It will be not very many, as Jono said, from going to a full barn to exactly the opposite of a full barn. But I'm sure the Stars fans will be down in numbers and in voice. So that'll be Saturday night, and then Sunday, the Warriors at Hillheads, second visit, as we said, to the Forum, to the Hillheads Ice Palace on a game night for the Stars. Warriors in the week put out that Ethan Reid is gone for the season with a hand injury. Sean Kippen is confirmed as gone for the season as well, and Ross Douglas is out with a knee injury. So obviously they're a bit of walking wounded at Hillheads. But as we've said before, a derby game, usual rules need not apply, and we need to apply ourselves, Jono, to get the job done on Sunday.
Yeah, that's what it was meaning. We're back down to earth with an absolute bump this weekend from Elland Road, and then to, as you called it, the Hillheads Ice Palace, which couldn't be any further from the truth. But it is what it is. We have a job to do. They are our local rivals, and the fans all want that big victory just as much as what the players do. And I know, I've just mentioned, I think we'll travel very well this weekend on the back of last weekend. And I think it's also a game that the lads will be very much up for. And I think these 2 games are the right 2 games to come after a cup final. But we do have to be on it. Last year, as Carol said, I don't even think we limped over the line. I think we fell over it, to be honest. But I think we learned a lot from last year, as we're seeing over the last couple of weeks. And I have every faith in these lads that they'll train well and they'll be ready for this weekend.
Yeah. Echo that, Carol. Anything to add?
Whitley are a wounded animal at the minute. Not just in terms of the team either, or everything that's been happening off the ice, blah, blah, blah. And a wounded animal is dangerous. If ever there was a time they wanted to put on a show to show their fans something,
Mm-hmm.
it would be in a derby game. So for me, that's not nailed on. Even with them being as short as they are, I think we need to be very careful.
Yeah. So that's Sunday at 5 o'clock at Hillheads. It's Saturday at 7:30. Again, if fans are wanting to travel, haven't been to Hillheads before either, it's definitely something you should do at least once, and maybe only once.
Have you had your shots?
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a derby atmosphere in Hillheads is has to be experienced by Stars fans at least once. So I recommend going, sitting with the Stars fans behind the bench. Again, getting the atmosphere going. It's always great supporting the team on the road like that. So we'll see what happens. I say we'll be following on social media. I'm sure other results on Saturday. We'll see what the weekend brings. But back to work. I say the Stars with a bump or back to reality, whichever it is. 2 road games in league action, and we'll see what transpires. And no doubt we will talk about it on next week's podcast. Just to round off the usual, any other business, a couple of bits from me. Last week we had Patrick Smith from A View from the Bridge, the Belfast Giants podcast. Just about now, they are starting their 500th episode. So congratulations to them, Paddy and the guys. So they've been going since 2005. It's their 20th anniversary later this year. But 500 episodes, a huge achievement. One of the OG UK ice hockey podcasts. So well done to those guys. Talking of winning things, because we won a cup on Sunday. I don't know if people knew about it.
Not mentioned.
But also on Sunday, England's under-13 boys won their competition in the Quebec Junior Tournament. It's one of the biggest junior tournaments in the world. There are a ridiculous amount of NIHL players involved. And England beat a team called Sorel from Quebec, and their head coach was a former first overall NHL draft pick called Alexander Daigle. He was a bit of a bust as a player, but as a coach, he's obviously coaching a junior team. The ridiculous number of NHL players. Joe Thornton was there with his team from Switzerland. Travis Zajac was coaching the New Jersey Devils team. It was absolutely stacked with NHL players across all of the competitions. But England won through and won their final 3-1. So congratulations to Coach Rob Lamey, GM Ben Pitchley, and all of the players and staff out there. Also a mention to the England girls team as well. They played in the second ever girls version of the Quebec tournament. And it's still in its infancy, the girls tournament, so there's no different divisions. So it's all AAA, AA teams. So the girls are playing some of the best under-13 girls teams from across the world. So they put up a great show in their tournament games and a huge experience for them. So well done to the England girls and boys, and congratulations to them. And just a quick one, again, Elite League, we don't normally talk about it, but we mentioned it last week with Paddy on A View from the Bridge. Five Flyers did a win as well.
They did a win.
Five Flyers did a win. There's winning all over the place, Carol. Everybody's winning except teams who didn't. But yeah. So Fife broke a long losing streak in the Elite League with a shootout win on home ice as well. So it was great for the Fife fans. Obviously, a struggling outfit at the moment with ownership issues and what's going to happen in the future. So great for Fife to do their win. England did a win. We did a win. Winning all over the place. As Hot Chocolate said, everyone's a winner, baby. We'll leave it at that. Anything from any other business, Jono? We've got no home games for a couple of weeks, so limited selling, but I'm sure you can still try and flog some.
Yeah, it's more of on the post I put on Facebook last night, just thanking everyone. It's just a massive, huge thanks to our fans who have been absolutely incredible this weekend. Going to Blackburn in numbers. I don't know how many there was of us, 200 maybe, 150, 200. Just absolutely incredible. And then, as mentioned again, for Sunday night, I have never seen it that busy, nor have I heard it that loud. My watching hockey in Billingham for 30 years, I've never heard it like that ever. And it's just fantastic to see. So it's just a huge thank you to all for turning up, bringing the noise, bringing your voices, supporting the team and supporting the supporters club as well with buying the merch, because obviously every penny we make, we do send over to the club to just try and help with those little things that you don't realize cost, whether it's just things like stick tape and things like that. So it's just an absolute massive, huge thank you to the fans for an incredible weekend and for supporting the supporters club. And let's really enjoy this end of the season and make it a season to remember.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Carol, obviously media busy time. We got where obviously Mikey was on Radio Tees. We got a mention on both of the BBC local news.
And
ITV showed a couple of video clips. BBC just said well done, but at least we got a mention. So we're getting the word out there.
Unfortunately, and this is a battle I think ice hockey in general faces, and it's not just little old us in North One. You're at the whim of other sports in this country. It is unfortunate and it's brutal, but it's true. So the BBC were very polite yesterday, but they also said in the same breath, we're doing football tonight. Okay.
Yeah. And they say in the UK, but also particularly in the Northeast as well, you are going to have that battle. It's football first, second, and third, and kind of fighting for scraps. But
Harrogate Town got more coverage than we did last night. That's all I'm going to say. It's just
the mighty Harrogate Town.
The mighty Harrogate Town.
Where's their weekly podcast?
It does frustrate me that when I watch things like that and they go, "Oh yeah, we're doing football tonight," and I'm like, "It's Harrogate Town, man. Are we?" You know. But what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah. But no, it's a great job getting us on. And Radio Tees, Mike, you did a great slot on Radio Tees as well. So obviously we'll keep them interested. We hope for the rest of the season. I know you mentioned at the top that the socials have been manic. We were very fortunate to have 47 official photographers last night.
Yes, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I really, really wanted to give them a mention. So. Please do go on to our socials. I've sorted out 5 of the 6 official albums that I have for this weekend.
Yeah.
And they're from there's one from Tony Bergham. There's one from Scott Llewellyn, who's been new to us this season. But some of the post-game stuff that he did, especially with the champagne in it.
Yeah.
Is he the one on Twitter with the windows?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That was awesome.
He edited it so when it shows on Twitter, it's got one photo, but when you see the photos themselves, they're like 3 photos in one. It's like
it's fantastic.
We're up rating here, and he's up rating like up here somewhere.
So that one's fabulous. There's an album from Steve Pollett, who obviously his son plays for Blackburn, but he's very helpful and always gives me photos when he can. So there's one from Steve Pollett, and there are 2 from Colin Edwards, who I will give special mention to, because Colin has been around this lovely sport of ours forever. I mean, Craig, you'll have known Colin for years. I know Jono, you'll have known is Colin's face from way back when as well. From when you were way small. And he has been not only excellent at his job, but consistent with the quality that he and the time that he's been able to give us. Please do remember, everybody, that nobody makes a bean out of this. It's a volunteer sport at the end of the day. So these guys are giving up their time, their exceptionally expensive equipment, and giving us this wonderful content. And it's please do support them in the work that they do outside of our sport, because they're never going to make any money out of ice hockey. It's unfortunate but true. But they obviously they're very talented. That equipment costs a fortune, because you can't take photos of ice hockey on an iPhone. I've tried. So yes, please do support them all, because their work is outstanding, and especially so this weekend. So There's one more. There is one more album that come from Colin. He sent me a separate album of all the presentations to all the players with all the medals and everything. So that one's still to come. I thought I would save that one till last.
Yes, there's no hurry to keep celebrating, is there? We can stretch it out as long as we can. But yeah, I know that the photos, particularly this weekend, have been outstanding, and I say it's for all this digital age and video and stuff. When you get a really well taken, and when you mentioned about the iPhone, when I talked to some of the guys I work with, like club or with GB or tournaments and stuff, I take pictures, they take photographs. That's how I kind of differentiate it. That it's when it's a really well done, like the guys have done this weekend, it's just another level. And I say some of the editing, like you say, the champagne slots when he's doing the editing of the multi photos, it just captures for supposedly everything's going to video. Photos can still show you the emotion. Like we talked about that Chris Sykes photo. That's a still photo.
That was Tony Bergham. Yeah,
but you get the emotion from a still photo.
It tells you a story of what's just happening, and that's what it's all about when you flick through these albums.
100%, and
that's how good these guys are. Like some of them, like I know Tony Bergham, and it is a hobby for him, but he absolutely loves it and he puts everything into it. But to be that good at your hobby, just like these lads playing hockey as well, it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, no, the photographers when it's really well done like that. As I say, I take photos, I take pictures, I take snaps. They take photographs. That's how I differentiate, and that their work is to be, like I say, shared and enjoyed. And as I say, I know some of them have got online shops as well. So if people want to support them that way, we certainly wouldn't discourage people spending a couple of shekels and getting either a print or a download or something like that. So give them all the support in the world, because it's, as Carol says, they're doing it voluntarily for us. So hugely appreciated. We'll kind of wrap it up there. I think it's been nearly an hour and a half. I think we've exhausted everything. I mean, we'll never get sick of talking about winning the Moralee Cup, 9-8 on aggregate over the Blackburn Hawks. But we have to stop for breath at least. We'll come back next week with more to talk about. Carol and I will be at training. Hopefully be at training on ice. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
And we'll get back into the swing of things, back in league action. And we'll hope you can join us here for next week's Starcast. Thank you to Michael and to Chris Sykes joining us at the very top of the show, talking about the Cup final weekend. Thank you as always to pointing the other way, that way, to Jono and to Carol. And it's confuses as hell because Carol's normally there and Jono's normally there, so it's all gone pear-shaped. I think I'm ready for a lie down. It's gone too much. So thank you to everybody for watching and listening. Episode 27 of Starcast. Whether you watch it on our Facebook or YouTube or listen to us on Apple or Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts, give us a like, give us a review, share it and tell your friends, and it'll all help with the sharing and getting us into more places. So thank you for that. And we'll be back next week. So thanks again to Carol and to Jono. And this has been your official podcast of the Billingham Town Council sponsored Moralee Cup champions, Billingham Stars. This has been Starcast.
Thank you for being part of this episode of Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Remember to like and share this episode, send a review when you can, and follow us on social media for the very latest news and to find out when the next Starcast will drop.